Long time no see, or should I say long time no listen, everyone. Welcome back to Screen Scream on Viola. It has been 10 weeks since I stopped updating new episodes since I was mostly in Japan in February and March. So I decided just to stop the show for a while, but now I'm back. And today we're going to talk about fantasies. So brace yourself and get ready for the first new movie we're going to talk about today. The Chimera, a group of archaeologists and the black market of historical artifacts. Well, that was really a short introduction. The first new movie we're going to talk about today is The Chimera. I've seen it. It's a co-production between Italy, France, and Switzerland. It features a very strong cast, including Josh O'Connor. You may have heard about him. He's famous for playing in Emma, God's Own Country, Hope Gap, and the TV series The Crown. I think the most famous one is The Crown. You may wonder which character he played. It's Prince Charles. So I think that's how people got to know him. He's the leading actor in The Chimera. Besides Josh O'Connor, Isabella Rossellini, the 71-year-old daughter of Ingrid Bergman and director Roberto Rossellini, played the protagonist's ex-girlfriend's mom. Since the protagonist Arthur's ex-girlfriend's already gone, we don't know whether she's alive or just go missing, but her mom's still here. So she actually played a big part of this movie. And as I mentioned, the girlfriend's no longer here, so the leading actress is someone else. It's starred by Carol Duarte, who's famous for Invisible Life. It's a movie that I've seen and I like very much. Aside from the strong cast, the story itself is interesting as well. The story talks about people who are looking for their dreamy chimera. Chimera is actually a Greek monster. It represents dreams. It's the desire that the characters want to fulfill, but they cannot fulfill, at least not yet. For the protagonist, Artu, or Arthur in English, the chimera is like his ex-girlfriend, who's no longer to be seen. But actually, the story of the chimera is an adventure between the living and the dead, city and the jungle, alone and celebration. Although everyone's chimera is totally different, they still form a temporary group to look for their chimera, their treasure together. And that's how this story is interesting. If you like archaeology or you like fantasy, I recommend you to watch The Chimera this weekend. The second new movie might be one of the only ones that we're going to talk about today that has least connection to fantasy. But I will explain later why I still picked it to today's list. Let's listen to the introduction first. Troll Factory, a crime drama that takes place when reporter In Sung-jin, who learned of the existence of the Common Army through a report on online public opinion manipulation, encounters a huge entity in the process of covering them.
Yeah, so weird.
The second new movie we're going to talk about today is a Korean movie. It's called Troll Factory. You may wonder, okay, so it's a factory of troll, but what does it mean? It's not talking about the troll in Harry Potter or the Lord of the Rings, since we're talking about fantasy today, right? Actually, Troll Factory, the troll here means people who give bad comments on the internet. And I think we already got a sense of that in the introduction. And the reason why I picked this movie to be in our fantasy episode is because I think making up news nowadays is like making up fantasies, but it's something we see every day and it's a very serious issue. We don't know whether we can believe what we see in the news or on internet anymore. I think the very first time that I came to realize this was when my mom held an exhibition. She's a total painting teacher. They paint on wood furnitures with acrylics. And when she was interviewed, the news article the reporter wrote read that she turned garbage into gold. Well, I get it that it's just a metaphor, but my mom said she didn't turn any garbage into gold. They bought the wood furniture. And from the content of the news article, you would be able to know that the reporter actually meant it. Since then, I understand that you can't fully believe in news articles. I know there are still a lot of news related workers, reporters, or anchors. They're really dedicated and respect their work. But there are still a lot of people are making up news. Or maybe that's just not say making up news. That's very exaggerated and well, maybe accusing people. Let's just say they exaggerate things. I think that's for sure. And that's exactly what Troll Factory is about. And it's adapted from a Korean novel. It wants to raise the awareness that can we really believe the articles or comments on the internet? Sounds like an interesting movie, right? And now it's time to move on to Top 007. It has been a long time since I last updated an episode. So if you're not following my written weekly report, you may not know what the top threes are recently. So let me give you a brief review. Top 3 last week was Dune Part 2, Top 2 Kung Fu Panda 4, and Top 1 Godzilla Kong The New Empire. Well, it's not so different this week, but I still prepared 2 movies to talk about. So let's check out Top 7 to Top 4. Top 6 The First Omen.
You don't have to be afraid.
Top 5 Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
The Ghostbusters are finished.
Right, well, overruled.
Sustained.
Thank you.
Top 4 Monkey Man.
You are a beast.
In this city.
Alright, so there are only 3 movies from top 7 to top 4. So we could tell that it's a little bit crowded over top 3. But never mind, I'm still going to pick one from these 3 movies. The First Omen. Okay, horror. I don't talk about it, only if necessary. Top 4, Monkey Man. It seems like a good movie. It's the latest film directed and acted by Dev Patel, but it's not going to be released in Taiwan until the end of May. So today I'm going to talk about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. It has been on the chart for a while. Well, it was kicked out of the chart for I don't know how long, 1 or 2 weeks, but it's back. So I guess people are still very nostalgic and there are some people who want to see it and haven't. So here we are. Let's talk about Ghostbusters. If you still remember, well, I'm not sure. It's not the one in 2019 or 2016. Anyway, the new one, the previous one. I'm not talking about that one. It's from the old one, the original Ghostbuster. If you still remember, the first generation of Ghostbusters still had a case unsolved. It was the spirit, the ghost, in the library. So for die-hard fans, maybe they always had this feeling that, oh my god, the Ghostbusters still had a ghost that they haven't busted. Well, in this episode, they not only put up the purple ghost in the library with a very scary image, but also giving the Ghostbuster a chance to tackle it, I guess. I'm not sure if they're going to tackle it or not. But it has been 40 years, and they're willing to solve this mysterious puzzle from the very beginning for the audience. I think it's somehow nostalgic and romantic for the die-hard fans. But actually, this ghost was the curator of the library. The reason why her spirit still lingers around is to scare the thieves who want to break the library. Then I think, would it be better if we don't tackle her? Because she's protecting the library, I mean. But anyway, if you're a fan of Ghostbusters, you will probably like the latest episode of Ghostbusters. And here comes our last part of the episode, top 3 to top 1. Top 3, Haikyuu, the movie, decisive battle at the garbage dump. Top 2, Dune, part 2.
The end of House Atreides. Your father didn't believe in revenge.
Kung Fu Panda 4.
Please, dinner with peas in a sesame soy glaze.
This is not working at all.
Top 1, Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire.
This world has more secrets than we could possibly imagine.
Yes, we have 4 movies from top 3 to top 1 this week. Haikyuu the movie Decisive Battle at the Garbage Dump. It's animation and it has nothing to do with fantasy. Dune Part 2, I would say it's more of a sci-fi, it's not fantasy. Godzilla Kong, the New Empire. Yeah, it might have some fantasy inside, but I still want to talk about Kung Fu Panda 4. Well, Kung Fu Panda 4 might be considered as an adventure action animation, but I think the concept that using animals to talk about a story that probably doesn't exist, we're not going to break children's fantasy, so I still think it has some fantasy inside. So in the previous 3 episodes of Kung Fu Panda series, Po has encountered an ox. Can we call that an ox? And a peacock? And a leopard. But in this episode, he's going to face an antagonist queen, which means that antagonist is a female. It's a chameleon. This chameleon is someone who speaks very sarcastically, but at the same time, she's very funny. And you could still say that she's just a little lizard. She wants to get Poe's stick very much because the stick contains wisdom, and she will be able to summon all the demons, well, not demons, just all the antagonists that Poe has ever bitten before. According to the crew, when they were designing this character, it took them a lot of times of calculation and brainstorming because they hoped to design an antagonist, a classic antagonist that people would feel scared right away. Besides new character, some popular old friends would be in the new episode as well. For example, in the 3rd episode, we finally saw Poe's father, biological father. So before that, we would see that Poe's father is a goose, and we also learned that Poe's actually adopted. But in episode 3, Poe's biological father, also a panda, of course, appeared. It has been a long time since he last met his son, so after they gathered together, he started to enjoy his peaceful life in the valley. But after all, they've been parted for a long time. It's really difficult for him to bear the responsibility as a father because he has to let go. He has to let his dear son to embark on this dangerous adventure and save the world. Alright, this concludes our episode of fantasy movies. Hope you like it, and I will be back same time next week here at Screen. Remember to tune in. I'm Viola. See you next week.